welcome to MiGi and Poppy's Kitchen. It is fall, which has me in the mood for all things pumpkin and pumpkin spice, and hopefully it has you in the mood for the same thing. So today I'm going to make a tried and true recipe here. Every time fall rolls around, I have to make pumpkin bread. So I've got a great recipe for pumpkin bread. And then I have been trying to incorporate more protein into every meal, so I saw this recipe for protein pumpkin muffins. And so we're going to try those and see how it compares to the pumpkin bread that I know I love and see if we like it just as much. So let's get started with the pumpkin bread. Yum. Okay, so we start with 1.5 cups of flour. And then we're going to put in a tablespoon of pumpkin spice or cinnamon if you don't have the pumpkin pie spice. But you can find this anywhere. It's probably a mixture, if I had to guess, of cinnamon and cloves and nutmeg and all that kind of good fall type spices. Okay, so I put in a tablespoon of that, then a teaspoon of baking soda. And this is in a medium bowl. And then the salt. Okay, so 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And it says to whisk this together first. Then, in a large bowl, we're going to whisk the can of pumpkin puree, which I mean, this just defines fall for me. All of this pumpkin flavor is so good. Okay, so we're whisking that with sugar, a cup of sugar. And then 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Okay, so we're whisking that together first. And then we beat in 2 eggs. And let's see, 1/2 cup, is that 1/2 cup? Yeah, 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. And then a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And this is my homemade vanilla. I'll link the recipe for this if you want to make your own. If you like to bake, there's nothing better than homemade vanilla in the recipes. This year I am trying the homemade vanilla made with vodka and with bourbon, and so can't wait to see the difference in that, and that's what I have the video about. Okay, so now we're going to slowly mix in the flour mixture, which I realized I was sitting there talking about pumpkin pie spice and forgot to add pumpkin pie spice to this one. And now I don't have well, it'll be fine. Okay, so slowly add the flour mixture to the large bowl with the pumpkin puree and all of the wet mixture. It said if there's some small clumps in there that it's fine. And you can also add whatever you want to this. A lot of times I'll add toasted pecans, or a lot of people like chocolate chips in it, or raisins. I'm not doing anything this time. I'm just gonna make just the pumpkin bread itself without anything because I love it just like it is. And I'm sure I'll make another batch with some toasted pecans in it before too long. We've got this mixed. Now, what I normally would do, it goes in a loaf pan and it fills up just a loaf pan perfectly. But I don't want to eat all of this for myself. Poppy doesn't, do you like pumpkin bread, Poppy? He said he doesn't know. I don't think he probably would love pumpkin bread, but I don't know if he's really ever tried it. But so I don't want to eat it all by myself. So I'm gonna make, my mom and dad love it, so I'm gonna make them a little loaf. I think I'm gonna use my cookie scoop. It's so much easier to get things out with a cookie scoop. So I'm gonna do these little small pans and see how much that makes. But normally when I make this, I just make one loaf pan. So in the loaf pan, I've put some aluminum foil in case, yeah, because this is gonna be more than I need for these 3 pans. I'm just gonna do about a half of a loaf pan as well. So normally if you have the whole loaf pan, you're supposed to cook it, what did it say, for, it seems like it's close to an hour. Yeah, 50 to 55 minutes, and around 30-minute mark you're supposed to check, and if it looks like the top is getting, let's see, too brown, that you put aluminum foil over it so that it still cooks, but it stops browning the top. Keep putting more in, don't want to waste any of this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it in a 375-degree oven for, but what I was going to say, because these pans are smaller, I'll be checking it way before 30 minutes. I'll probably about 15-20 minute mark. I'll look, and I bet this won't take much longer than that to cook, but I'll let you know. Okay, that's it. That's it for the pumpkin bread. So how easy is that? And it's just warm when it comes out of the oven, and it's just moist, and it's so flavorful, and it's just so good, just so fallish. Okay, so I'm going to get these in the oven, and then we're going to make the protein pumpkin muffins. And let me tell you about each one of these muffins. They have 120 calories, 8 grams of protein in each muffin, 6 grams of sugar, 2 grams of fiber, and 2 grams of fat that comes naturally from the eggs. So that's pretty good. I mean, to add 8 grams of protein just with a muffin, 120 calories, it's not bad. Okay, it's only 5 ingredients, but MiGi's gonna add a 6th just to put a little extra flavor in here. But what you do is you're gonna preheat your oven to 350 degrees, line a muffin pan with 12 liners, and then you're gonna mix all the dry ingredients in a bowl, and then add the wet ingredients, stir until combined, pour them into the muffin pan, put them in the oven for 20-25 minutes, and that's it. Okay, so here's the ingredients. It's a cup of oats, a cup of pumpkin puree, which was about 3/4 of, oh wait, it said that stir the dry ingredients first and then add the wet ones, didn't it? Sometimes it's do as I say and not as I do around here. Okay. Let's find another dry ingredient. All right, a half of a cup of protein powder. So mine is vanilla flavored. It said you could either do vanilla flavor or unflavored protein powder. So I've got a half of a cup of vanilla protein powder. Well, let's see. Well, that's all the dry ingredients. Okay. Oh, except for my extra ingredient that I'm going to add, which is a tablespoon of the pumpkin pie spice. I just thought that'd be really good in there. I mean, I don't guess you have to have it, but man, I bet it's gonna make it so much better. Okay, now got my dry ingredients put in here. So here's the wet ingredients: the cup of pumpkin puree. Sorry, going back in there. Okay, and then a 1/4 of a cup of honey. as your sweetener. And this is the only sweetener that it has besides the protein powder, the vanilla protein powder, which is sweet. It adds a lot of sweetness to things, which is good when you can get protein and sweetness from the same thing, in my book. Okay, now we're just gonna stir this together. And put it in the muffin pan, cook it, and we will see what we think. And I bet I know what I'm gonna think, because I can't imagine not liking this. This sounds so good to me, those ingredients. So I always like to do this with a cookie scoop. It just makes it so much easier. I don't think I'm gonna get 12 out of here. Did it say I was supposed to have 12? It says 12. Maybe they were doing smaller scoops. Start not doing as big of scoops, and maybe my muffins might just have a little bit more than hers. Which increases the calories, but it also increases the protein, right? Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna do 8, because if not, those were gonna be like really small. That's weird. To me, I should have used the whole can of pumpkin and increased the amount of oats and protein powder. But they didn't ask me, so this is what I'm doing. If this is really good, I'll make this again, and that's what I'll do. I'll increase the rest of the ingredients so it will get 12. Because look, this is just regular size muffin cups. Okay, so baking that for 20 to 25 minutes until the toothpick comes out clean, and we'll taste it and see how we like it. Wait, I pulled them back out because hers had pretty little oats on top of her muffins, and it really did make them very visually appealing. So I am going to do that. Excuse you. Bless you, I meant. Because this really did. In the picture, that's one thing I was like, ooh, those look pretty. Okay, now we're going to put them in the oven and leave them in for 20 to 25 minutes. The small loaves of banana bread are done, and you should smell my kitchen. It smells so good. And I put a little slab of butter on it. Okay, I'm gonna taste this. Not that I have not tasted this before, because I make this several times every fall, even in the summer. Sometimes I'll think, ooh, I want some pumpkin bread. Okay, I'll do this for y'all. That is just so good. It really is. It is so good. I can't wait to try the protein muffins. Waiting on them to get done. So I'll let you know as soon as they get out. But that's a must make. Now for the protein pumpkin muffins. Never had this before, so we are gonna try this together. It just came out of the oven, and I'm in a hurry because we're going to Lucy's soccer game here in a minute, and I've got to leave, so I got to taste it fresh out of the oven. I don't know if you can see that steam. And I will give you my honest opinion. I don't know how to do anything else. It's really good. It's delicious, but I'll tell you what it lacks. Like if I wouldn't have put that pumpkin pie spice in there, I don't know how much pumpkin I would be tasting. Isn't that weird? Because it's, Maybe it's just because it's so hot. Let me see. If I have to, I'll take a second bite. That was better. That was more pumpkin-y. It truly is delicious. I just love that strong pumpkin pie spice flavor in the pumpkin bread. And this doesn't have as much, and I'll tell you why, is because that vanilla protein powder I used, that's what I can taste a lot of. So if you're a vanilla, and that is a really strong vanilla, I love it because it is such a strong vanilla flavor protein powder. But if yours isn't as strong, maybe yours won't overpower the pumpkin flavor like mine does. But still, it's delicious. I will love eating these every morning and knowing they're a little healthier than your average pumpkin baked good. And I can't wait to eat these every morning with some scrambled eggs, and ooh, that'll just be so good. Loved both of these. You can't lose with pumpkin bread, pumpkin, anything pumpkin in the fall. And you know what? Oh, and you know what else I realized? This is gluten-free. Oats, protein powder, honey. I mean, nothing in there had gluten in it. So, and we buy the certified gluten-free oats. So, so that's gluten-free. So if Poppy did want some, he could eat that one. And then I saw some apple spice baked donuts the other day, and I thought, oh my gosh, I love apple spice donuts. And I thought, I'm gonna try to make find a recipe for gluten-free apple spice donuts. I found them. I found a recipe, making that next. So stay tuned for the apple spice donuts because we love fall. All right, thanks for coming in.